Hello and welcome to my F1 24 driver career mode here today for part 54 and round 4 of the season for the Miami Grand Prix, our first sprint weekend of the season as well. We come into sprint qualifying now then, into the final couple of corners, the final proper corner on the track. Lose the back end slightly, coming out that corner now through the little S section and up to the line. We cross it at first lap, only puts us 14th. And then on our final run, we could have improved and we also fell down a bit. So we're going to be starting the sprint race in P16. So this is the grid then for the sprint. It's Max on pole and Lando Norris is second. Then it's Sainz and Fernando Alonso, Albon and George, Piastri and Daniel Ricciardo. Then it's the two Ferraris headed by Charles Leclerc, Perez and Yuki Tsunoda, Ocon and Gasly, Lance Stroll and we are P16. Then it's Behrman and Nico Hulkenberg, Joe and Frederick Vesti make up the final row of the grid. So here we go then to the 5 red lights ahead of the Miami sprints. We're racing here in Miami. We haven't got the best of starts, quite a lot of wheel spin. There's a lovely gap to the inside there, and that's where we're going to put our car down into turn 1. We've been clipped though by Yuki Tsunoda in the RB. We're now struggling to try and keep the car in a straight line after being clipped by the RB. We've lost a couple of places on the open lap. It was a bit ambitious, that move, but we went for it anyway. Now on the back of the Red Bull of Sergio Perez, who's going to go to the inside of it. He left the gap and we filled it. We've also got the RB there. We've also got 3 places there as well. We've got maybe nearly round the outside. Have we got the Alpine as well? Yes, we have. We're going to go for it on the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc as well. But we couldn't quite get the job done on the Ferrari. We're going to have to be a bit more patient before we get that job done. Now we head down the back straight. Have we got the speed here? No DRS yet. To have a go to the inside late on the brakes. We're getting close to the back of the Ferrari and that's what we're going to do. To the inside, we show Leclerc the door. He has to back out and we're up into another place. A fairly decent opening lap here in the sprint. Now we're on the back of the other Ferrari of Lewis Hamilton. We send it late down the inside. Hamilton tries to hold it out, but he backs out of it, and that is job done on both Ferraris. Next to the road, Oscar Piastri in the McLaren. We're side by side through that really tight chicane, trying to get back down the inside of him. Can we get the traction on the exit? No. So nearly got Piastri, but now with the DRS and the overtake button, it's going to pull us back alongside. But Lewis Hamilton's going for a great run here. He's got us. Now can he get the McLaren of Piastri? We've nearly gone into the back of the Ferrari there. Hamilton's done us back as we tried to get the exit and get them both back, but we lost the rear. Now can Piastri keep the Ferrari behind as they go towards turn 1? It looks like Lewis may have the inside line and the advantage. Piastri though isn't giving up. He's got the better traction coming out of turn 1. Now they're going to be side by side through the S section. Can Hamilton get the job done? No. He's got us though. Very, very nearly getting the McLaren there. Great racing here in Miami. And he's going for it again, is Lewis Hamilton. To the outside. Can he get the job done? This time going into the fake marina. Into that right-hander is further alongside. We're looking for a gap if there is one to try and get past the Ferrari, as we look to get past both of them as quickly as possible. We seem to have good pace on this opening couple of laps. You can see George, our teammate, down, starting to pull away. This time though, we're right on the back of Lewis Hamilton. Is he catching up McLaren? Yes he is, but this time late on the brakes, down the inside of both of them. Can we get the job done? Have we got Hamilton? It looks like we've got Hamilton. We have got Hamilton back after he pulled that move on us earlier on. Now can we get Piastri? We've pulled away slightly from the Ferraris. They're going wheel to wheel in the background. And now we're going to send it down the inside on Oscar Piastri to the inside. The two Ferraris are going wheel to wheel. Piastri's held us off and it looks like Leclerc has got the job done on Hamilton to move up. As now we stick with Piastri. It seems like we've got good pace if we can just get past the McLaren and maybe down the road after our teammate. But we're nearly at the halfway part of the sprint, so it may just be the McLaren as we're getting closer and closer to Piastri, to the inside of Piastri and ahead of Piastri. Finally, that McLaren is in the mirrors, and hopefully now we can get down the road after our teammate. But Piastri's not giving up, he's going back up the inside into turn 1. Can we keep it pinned around the outside? It looks like Piastri's had to back out of it. We've got the job done, we've pulled a little gap, but he's stuck with us as the McLaren. Now to the outside, Piastri gets us back way before the corner. Can we send it back down the inside? No. Piastri's got us covered. Fair play, that's a great move by him. We'll give him that one. This time though, we're going to swap in the dummy to go round the outside at the final corner. Have we got the extra traction? Piastri's going to make us go all the long way round, but he didn't get the exit and we're past the McLaren. Back up now into P8. It's for the final point in the sprint, this battle. Piastri got alongside us, but we're showing the door into turn 1. But we just can't pull away, we can't break the DRS, it's so powerful. Round here, Piastri looks like he's got us back. Is Leclerc going to get us as well here? Piastri's got us. Now it's round the outside to try and fend off the Ferrari of Leclerc. We just keep the Ferrari behind, but we've once again lost out to the McLaren as we're sideways there, coming out with that really clumsy and very unnecessary chicane that I've put on this track. But now we've got a good exit out of that really tight left-hander down the back straight. We're getting closer and closer to the back of Piastri. We're going for the outside again. It worked before. Will it work again? We're on the outside. Can we get the extra traction? Piastri has us covered this time, but we're going to have an extra stab at it with the DRS going into turn 1. Are we close enough? We're going for it. We're going for the lunge down the inside. Have we got the job done? Looks like Piastri once again keeps us behind. We just can't find a way through on this McLaren, and when we do find a way through, he's just getting us back straight away. As now we head down towards the Fate Marina. We're getting closer and closer to the back of the McLaren. We're going to the inside, down into that corner. Piastri dropped it. There's contact with the McLaren. We've lost our front half of our front wing. So has Oscar Piastri. It's a dramatic end to this sprint race, and what was a great clean battle has all gone wrong as Piastri lights up the rear tyres and spins into the side of us. Look at the damage on that front wing. This is a replay of what happened. He just lights it up, and we're the innocent victim in that. We had absolutely nowhere to go. This is it from Leclerc's point of view, and then Leclerc just sits there for some random reason. Sergio Perez here sees a great opportunity to go round the outside of everyone. Fair play to him, but that's a lot of damage to that McLaren front wing. He's going to have to pit for a new one, and he would have just spun and got away with damage if we weren't the inside of him. There was nothing we could do about that. We can carry on. Like, our damage isn't that bad to our front wing. We have only lost an end plate. Piastri's lost a lot more than an end plate. His sprint race is done. It's over. He was fighting for 1 point and he's not going to get a single one now. This is lap 9 now. This is Daniel Ricciardo heading towards the Fate Marina once again. He's got past Max, who's dropped back after his pole in the sprint, and he's done the same thing as well. He's spun round. Literally copy and paste of what Oscar Piastri did. Max somehow doesn't hit the Williams there. He stopped on his marks. He's very glad there that he didn't get hit in the rear by our teammate George. As now this is Gasly in the Alpine going on to the final lap of the sprint race. Near enough. That Renault engine has gone bang. Their reliability that they thought they fixed for this year seems not to be true. It's going on to the final lap. Sergio Perez has caught us up due to our damage with the front wing. We were struggling a bit, but we've held him off at turn 1. We've ran wide though as we're struggling with the downforce, and we've opened the door now for Sergio Perez to walk through, but he couldn't get the exit, and we keep him behind for now. He's getting closer and closer though. To the back of us now is Perez. To the inside at the Fate Marina, we defend him off, and that may well be it. He's got one more chance. Up front though, Carlos Sainz. That Aston Martin looks very strong, especially around here, and he comes up to the line and wins the Miami sprint. Lando's P2 is a great P3 for Albon. Now this is George all over the back of Max. Can he get the job done? Round the outside at the final corner, can George get past the Red Bull? No, it's game over there for George. He couldn't find a way past the other Red Bull. And now this is the fight for a couple of points. We keep Perez behind, and that's going to be a fairly decent P7 in the sprint, considering the damage after the incident. So that's been then the Miami sprint. Very dramatic sprint, some great racing in there in that battle with Piastri, and both of the Ferraris ending in dramatic fashion with that contact. But it was Sainz who won it. Lando P2, Albon a great P3 in the Williams. You get 2 points for P7, just holding off Perez. Down at the back there was the one retirement going on to the final lap, being Pierre Gasly, and the final finisher of the day was Oscar Piastri, following that pit stop to replace the damage on his front wing. So we come into the final corner for qualifying for the race itself. We've set 2 personal best, set 2 on our opening lap. We come up to the line, cross it, and that first lap's going to put us P5, but we've dropped down a bit as on our final run Fernando Alonso decided to try and overtake us going into the Fate Marina. So we lost a bit of time there. So as we come into the final corner, this is on the same lap as Alonso tried to overtake us. We found a little bit of time. We've lost it again though, and it's going to be a pretty horrible qualifying for us. So this is the grid then ahead of the Miami Grand Prix. It's now 4 front row starts out of 4 for Carlos Sainz. He is on pole alongside Max Verstappen. Then it's Albon and Fernando Alonso, Lando and Piastri, Leclerc and Daniel Ricciardo, Hamilton and Perez round out the top 10. We are P11 alongside Lance Stroll. Then it's Tsunoda and Oliver Behrman. Then it's the 2 Haas's, and then it's George with a penalty and Ocon, Joe with a penalty, and Gasly taking a penalty after his retirement in the sprint. So as we come onto the grid then at the end of the formation lap, it's going to be a one-stop race, starting on the mediums, going to the hards if everything goes to plan. So here we go then, the 5 red lights come on ahead of the Miami Grand Prix. We're racing in Miami, and once again, just like the sprint, we've got a lot of wheel spin off the line. It looks like we haven't lost much though. We're going to brake later, trying to go around the outside there of the Red Bull of Perez. We've got Perez. Can we get the McLaren as well? Yes, we can. We've run a bit wide. We've nearly dropped the back end there. And that's going to put us under pressure from the 2 places we've just gained, as that's Perez and the McLaren going wheel to wheel through the S section. We're on the back of the Ferraris now. If we can try and clear them as quickly as possible like we did in the sprint. We've got 1 Ferrari to the inside at the Fate Marina. Can we get the other one fairly quickly? We've looked to the outside. There's going to be nowhere through here unless we go for a very big lunge and risk ripping off the front wing, but we can't there. But heading down towards the final proper corner, we're on the back of the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. He's now behind us, and so is Lando Norris, and unless Lando can get the exit to keep ahead of us, we're nearly making contact there. It looks like Lando's just got the better exit, and Leclerc comes back up the inside of us. Leclerc gets us back. It was nearly a great double move. We haven't gained anything in the end. Leclerc fends us off, so does Lando, and now we're going to have to go for it again. As once again, here we go, we're getting closer and closer. We're going to swap the Ferrari, the dummy, look to go round the outside. Can we get the extra traction round the Fate Marina? Yes, we can. Leclerc has to back out of that one. Up next is the McLaren of Lando Norris. We spent the sprint race battling the other McLaren of Piastri. Are we going to spend the race battling the other McLaren of Lando Norris? We pulled to the outside, he's defended off the inside, we're going to brake later. Now it's all about the exit. Lando's really put himself on top of the curb there, and that's cost him, and we've got ahead of the McLaren. Unless Lando will have us back here, he's going to the outside. We slam the door firmly shut in the face of the McLaren, and we keep him behind. And up the road next is Daniel Ricciardo, who's had a fairly decent opening couple of laps. But now this is Lando in the McLaren, getting closer and closer. He's going to go to the outside, and he looks like he's got us back with the DRS, unless we can lunge it back down the inside, be later on the brakes. Yes, we can, but Lando has the exit and the traction to get us back there. There is great racing today in Miami. It's annoying that we can't stay ahead of them with the DRS once we've got him. I feel like we have the pace to match the Williams today in front and get down the road after them. We seem to have good race pace as long as we can clear the McLaren, as Lando once again fends off the inside line, leaves the door wide open to go round the outside, and this time he's kind of just let us through round the outside. But now, is he going to get the extra traction here to try and get us back at turn 1? We've got the DRS, and we just keep off the McLaren, but here he comes again. We just couldn't break the DRS to get away. I feel like we've got the pace to catch those Williams in front and continue going forward, but we just can't break the DRS. We're now starting to break away from Leclerc and Piastri, as Lando once again gets us back, and there's not much we can do about that. As does Piastri get the job done on the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. He has the inside line, and he does get the job done on Leclerc. He has to back out of that one. We live to fight another day. We're still all over the back of the McLaren. We're in a sandwich now between the two McLarens, and we're all over the back once again of Lando Norris. Can we get closer to him as we head down the long back straight? We're going to go to the inside this time. He didn't fend it off enough. He left the car's width, and this time we've got the job done, as in the background Charles Leclerc has spun. We've nearly pinned it into the wall at the same time. Leclerc has spun. The safety car now has been deployed, and it's been a very dramatic couple of moments here in Miami. The safety car is out. We've nearly been beaten out of the pits by the safety car. Leclerc though is going to box. Everyone is in now. It is near enough at the perfect time to go on to the hard tyres to try and get them to the end of the Grand Prix. Leclerc with a big mistake there, just losing it on the rear. Must be these street tracks. There's been a lot of mistakes, as all the teams now are starting to hold each other up a little bit, as everyone kind of came in at last minute. Very late calls going on round there. This is a replay of Charles Leclerc then spinning round, and he gets into the final corner, lights up the rear tyres, and that's game over for him, and he's facing the wrong way and now has to get going again. This is Sergio Perez's point of view. He comes round the corner, and there's a Ferrari parked in the middle of the track, and then the ghosting happens, and he just goes straight through and off into the pits. And at the end of the lap, as we'd already crossed the pit lane, we're coming in to follow everyone else. We've learned from Monza last season, where we threw away a very good chance at a win that day. A win may be too far out of the question today, but further up the order, hopefully we could beat out a McLaren and break away from Lando Norris, as McLaren have had a nightmare. Look what they've brought both cars in. Piastri's going to be held up. Both Williams have held each other up. We've jumped the Williams of Daniel Ricciardo there, so we are going to break away from the McLaren of Lando Norris. What, the two Williams and the two McLarens holding each other up there, and with been allowed just to sneak past, well, sneak and gain on Lando and get a free position on Daniel Ricciardo. As now at the end of lap 10, we're all ready to go racing again here in Miami for the final 19 laps of this track. And now we're ready to go. We seem to have good race pace. George is dropped down a bit, of course he had that penalty, but he seemed to have good race pace in the sprints. So maybe, just maybe, there may be a podium in it today. As we get closer and closer now, the race has restarted. We're going to go to the inside of the Aston Martin of Fernando Alonso. It's dropped in on Alonso. We're up into P4. Is there a potential podium on the cars today? As there is Albon going wheel to wheel with Max Verstappen. Can Max get past? He has the inside line for the next corner. They're still side by side. We're looking to try and get round the outside of both of them, but we have to back out of it. And Max is past the Williams, but Albon's not giving up. To the inside, Sainz leads. This is a great battle for P2, which we're just watching with the popcorn. Can Albon get past? They're still side by side. We're all over the road trying to find any scraps we can to find a way through, and Albon retakes the lead from Max there, the position from Max there, as we're getting closer and closer, as the Aston Martin of Alonso tries to get us back there as we head down towards the faint marina. We're now a lot closer. We're going to go to the outside of Max Verstappen as Albon has a big lock up there, has thrown away the podium places, and we've gained 2 places there, and we find ourselves in P2. Can we get down the road after Carlos Sainz? Could we win our second race of the season after Australia and the disappointment of last time out in Japan? As now we fend off the inside line to Max Verstappen. We're going to show him the door. That strong DRS is really hurting us again, and we've broken it. As now here comes Fernando Alonso to get onto the podium once again and takes the podium place from the Red Bull. He's up into P3. The gap between us and Sainz is around 4 seconds, and the Aston Martins are way too strong today around here, as Fernando Alonso takes P2 from us, making it an Aston Martin 1-2. So we decided not to fight him. Let's play this clever. Aston have the pace today, there's no beating them. So let's try and stay in the DRS of Alonso and see if he can drag us up to the back of Sainz and potentially sneak a win out of this race. That is the plan for the rest of this Grand Prix. Just to try and stick with Fernando Alonso, not try and overtake him, just stick with him, and that's exactly what we're doing. It's working to effect so far. The gap is coming down to Carlos Sainz, as it's another engine failure for Alpine. Gasly's engine goes bang in the sprint, Ocon's engine goes bang in the race itself. He wasn't in the points anyway, but that's 2 engines that have gone bang on the same weekend for Alpine. As once again Albon locks up earlier on, spins round at turn 1, and it's chaos there, as I think it's reversed into the back of our teammate there, George. They're all over the road at turn 1. It's just going to need another safety car. Everyone gets going again without one. Just 2 laps to go. He's going again, but George and Piastri have won out big time there. As now into turn 1, he's just done what Leclerc did and light up the rear tyres and spin it round. There's been a lot of mistakes this weekend, and then there's the contact with George. This is Daniel Ricciardo's point of view, as he's just going round and his teammates in front of him, spinning round and then reverse back. There's the contact with George, you can just see it there. This is Piastri's point of view. Everyone's spinning in front of him and stopped, and he's gone bonus right round the outside of all of them and gained some very easy places there. Now this is George's point of view. Into that section, he's decided to follow Piastri and then comes Albon, and he's sort of turned into the back of him ever so slightly there. But anyway, he's been hit by him. As now we skip on to the end of lap 27. We're still sticking with Fernando Alonso, but it was starting to get to the point now where we need to start to think, do we really overtake Alonso? You can see the gap is coming down to Sainz, but we're going to run out of laps here to do anything. We've flown away from those behind. As the final lap, here it is, we couldn't catch Sainz, so let's try and get P2 back. We're getting closer and closer to the back of Fernando Alonso. We're going to try and go to the outside now at the Fate Marina. We get the job done. It's a move we could have done laps and laps ago, but we decided to hold on. But we get it back. Carlos Sainz has dominated this weekend. He's going to win the Miami Grand Prix, and we're going to come home for a very, very solid P2.
It's been a brilliant drive from Carlos Sainz, who takes the checkered flag.
And that's 2 wins in a row now. It's the start of potentially something special, but they can't get ahead of themselves just yet. It's a long way to go.
You can see them on their way out to the podium now. Aston Martin really are making waves in this sport. And what a special race this was to see them earn the top spot.
So that's been your Miami Grand Prix. Started off very dramatic with that safety car and a lot of good racing. It did kind of fade away and get a bit dull towards the later stages as we followed Fernando Alonso to try and catch Carlos Sainz, but there was no catching him as he wins the Grand Prix. We're P2, Fernando Alonso P3. It's another great day for Aston Martin. Piastri was P4, and then George, after making the contact with Albon, still comes home for a solid P5. Charles Leclerc, after his spin, dropping him all the way down to the back, recovered for just 1 single point in P10. There are a lot more on offer for him today if it wasn't for the spin. And then down at the back there was one retirement, that being Esteban Ocon, and it wasn't a good day all round for Alpine as Gasly was the final finisher of the day as well, but he did have the fastest lap. And this is what it means in terms of the championship. Carlos Sainz retakes the lead of the championship from Fernando Alonso by 9 points. We've moved up to P3 with 33 points back from the 2 Astons. Down at the back there's still a lot of drivers still yet to score this season after the opening 4 races. And in terms of the constructors, it's another great day for Aston Martin. So they extend their lead out over us in P2. The gap is now 76 points. McLaren are P3, Red Bull P4, and Williams are P5, and then RB, Haas and Sauber are your only teams that are still yet to score. So that's been your Miami race weekend then. There was maybe a bit more on offer in the sprint if it weren't for the contact and battle with Piastri. We got the maximum out of the race though, so that makes up for the sprints. But we go to Monte Carlo next. Goodbye.